puke?
If we meant to fly, we'd grow wings.
Prepare for takeoff!
Ever been in a cockpit before?
No, sir, I've never been up in a plane before.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Well, we know where we're going, but we don't know where we've been.
Hey, we're live here at the episode 2 of the Flyover State of Film. This show, we got together 4 guys who live in a place where the opinions don't matter to Hollywood too much. So we started up our own little podcast to prove them they're absolutely right in ignoring us. My name's Brian at Hercules on Twitter, and I'll be serving as host tonight, apparently. They just told me before we went live. And with me, as always, are the boys. Before we get started, can we go ahead and do our classic drink crack here, guys, fellas? Oh, and then you can go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us what you're drinking. Oh, Jusef, did you see my bottle opener?
Lulling that cap to sleep.
Shots fired.
That means one time I had $3.
I guess I'll introduce myself since Brian just threw me in the middle. Jusef at wildupnewies.com. I'm drinking Ryan Guys here from Cincinnati, official sponsor of me and my heart. Just having fun here.
I will follow up with that one without any cue because I'm drinking some Sierra Nevada Pale Ale from Chico, California. I am TJ Dex. You can find me at TJ Dex on Twitter. And, I like to think of myself as the wild card of this group.
And wild cards don't call themselves wild cards. Come on. I'm Joe. I'm drinking a Tonewood, same as last week, because I didn't drink the rest of them.
Boo.
And
weak sauce.
call me on Fandango. I'm also Billy D. Williams. You can find me in the new Star Wars movie. Welcome to a Star Wars podcast with 4 white.
I'm also repping Ohio. I got the Great Lakes Brewing Company, a little Holy Moses Raspberry White Ale. It's quite good. I've never had it before.
I like Great Lakes beer. They have that good Nosferatu beer.
Yeah.
Well, I'm old enough to remember when burning pale ale was the only thing they made, and it was like this big rare deal and whatnot. So yeah, I'm old. So that's how that goes.
Drinking Leinenkugel last week?
Yeah.
You're stepping it up. You're good. You're good.
I wouldn't say I'm stepping it up. I would say all my choices are good.
Not sponsored.
We stumbled upon in Hoboken, New Jersey, this weird Ohio bar. Last fall.
Themed Ohio?
It was a Browns bar, which they don't exist. But it was a Cleveland.
You don't even find one of those in Cleveland.
This was in the middle of Hoboken, New Jersey. And literally, I saw 15 people in Browns jerseys walk in, and I just asked someone. The guy goes, "Oh yeah, the guy who owns this place almost so strictly gets Ohio beer here, and he hosts every Browns game every week." And
funny story about that. Drew Carey owns that bar, and Johnny Manziel is the bar boy. So there you go.
He serves. Does he serve Buzz beer there? Does he serve Buzz beer there? Then that's a deep cut Drew Carey show reference from my
That's
boys
the name
out
of the
there.
goddamn coffee beer. Fuck! I was thinking about that the whole time. Sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway,
That's what I'm here for. I fill those gaps. That's what a good host does.
Yes.
So we're going to get started with our topics this week. Everybody's coming to the show with a little something they want to talk about. I'm going to start out by saying I do not give a fuck about a Joker movie starring anybody. I would love to see them give Batman a rest for about 5 years. So what do you guys think about the fact that we got confirmation that the stupid Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie that doesn't need to be made is getting made?
So I love Joaquin Phoenix. I honestly do. He's an amazing actor. But I would prefer watching Batman given parking tickets before I see another Joker movie. It's just, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm fine. We can move on.
We don't.
That's all he has to say.
I'm with Brian. I'm with Brian here. That We don't need a Joker movie. We don't need a standalone Joker movie. The thing that makes that fucking character so perfect is having a little bit of him in films, and we just need to give this fucking this Batman stuff, like you said, a rest for a few years. It's fine. You'll be fine. There's other characters. Yeah, and like the thing with these DC films is they've only casted good actors in these roles, and they still don't fucking work.
Except for Jason Momoa.
Yeah, I mean, except for like I don't like Jared Leto, but when you first saw his casting news, you were like, yeah, that could work as a Joker until you fucking saw it.
I would rather watch a Jared Leto and Joker Harley origin starring anyone. Like, I don't want to see a Joker origin movie. That's what I don't want.
I like that a lot of the Joker does not have a definitive origin.
Right.
And
I enjoy that as well.
That's
Nor
kind of
should he.
Yeah, that's kind of the appeal of the character. Like, there's a bunch of different comic book sources, and where like it's kind of like outward stories, and where like they put a what if origin story to them, but they never like nail it down to like this is the specific origin story. Like, one of the theories of Heath Ledger's Joker is like he was like ex-military, and he's suffering from PST, and he's like just going against the government because he felt like all his army buddies died for nothing, and he's just like trying to just throw a monkey wrench into the system. So it has nothing to do with the origin stories of the comic book. So that kind of like plays into the mystique of the Joker. If you tell me point blank, yeah, this is where he bought his makeup at Party City in the corner, I mean, I don't care.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you get the origin of the Heath Ledger Joker in Jarhead with Jake Gyllenhaal. It all wraps around with Jake Gyllenhaal's fucking thing. All right, we get that whole thing. We don't need any origin. It would be dope if you're going to give us a Joaquin Phoenix, I said this earlier, in the Brian Azzarello Joker storyline where he's been in jail for a little bit of time. He's already had River Origin. You don't have to necessarily do anything. It's a one-shot, easily one-shot. My whole thing is, why do a one-shot and then still connect the Jared Leto stuff, and like a million fucking times this could be beat like a dead fucking horse. But why are we doing two now? And automatically that makes us think that DC and Warner Brothers has there's like two groups working. There's one doing these one standalone.
Right, well, it's like a desperation move. It's like the one thing we know in the last 10 years is that people really like the Joker in that movie, and they're just like disconnected from the idea that it was not just the Joker. It was like a really like one of a kind performance and a really exceptional movie. And like they don't understand, they're not putting all those pieces together. They're like, I want to take the Joker and get Marvel level success with it. How do I make that happen as fast as possible? And that's all they're thinking about. And it's infuriating because they continually like the same lesson taught to them over and over again, and yet they're just like, no, I'm gonna double down on every bad idea I have.
And like TJ said, like, oh, this will just be like a one shot. I don't think they're making that deal to be a one shot.
There's
comic book property is being made for a one shot.
It all depends, obviously. These people make
I don't
money.
know, but you see Joaquin Phoenix signing himself into a deal where he has to come back for 3 movies.
I bet there's a stipulation. If it makes so much money, he's got to come back. If it makes over 150 opening, like, okay, doesn't make any sense. Ant-Man and the Wasp has tons of 10 years of Marvel background, but no one expected 150. That's basically because Marvel attached Infinity War to the end of this movie. If you just attach Joker, Batman to a name of a film, they proved it Batman vs. Superman, they proved it with any of these movies, it's going to bring at least 70 mil opening weekend.
That's the thing I heard about this supposedly is it's going to be cheap too. Supposedly they're going to do this Joaquin Phoenix one for like 55 million. And at that point they're printing money. There's no way they won't make that back easily.
Because then you're hopefully not going to have a big end of the world fight with the fucking Joker, and we have to view him as an anti-hero.
I mean, but
God forbid you have a villain lead a movie. That's another thing.
I honestly don't give a fuck if they make money or not. Like, that's not my issue. Because we're not gonna make that money. We're not.
Somebody's in it for the art.
Yeah, we're not a hashtag really the Snyder cut over here. But
We got to see it with our eyes.
Yeah, it's just so necessary. Like many of the films that coming out right now, it just feels so. I feel tired. Like it's just like, oh, really? Like I don't want to watch it. Like it feels like a Minion movie. It feels like, oh, this was the popular
Perfect,
character.
Oh, I 100% have no excitement for it. I'm with you
This
there.
is what I feel with the Joaquin Phoenix stuff is, and we all heard how difficult it is they basically just probably kept coming and be like, we'll pay you this, we'll pay you this. When she said, he was like, I like money.
And you know what the craziest thing about this is you have Todd Phillips, right? And I get the whole thing. Give a director something that he wants to do. This guy has had opportunities to do things out of comedy. He did War Dogs. Wasn't a big fan of this. It's not a Jordan Peele situation where
War
this
Dogs
guy
wasn't a terrible movie. I prefer it to The Hangover.
No, but it's taking a guy.
I liked his comedies. Like Old School is a
Old School and Road Trip are actually. I mean, Old School
Yeah.
is maybe one of the best comedies of the early 2000s.
I agree.
It's
and like
a
Road
great
Trip's a
one.
solid movie. The first Hangover is great. It just got played in the ground, so it has that.
I always describe the
Give
first
this guy-
Hangover as like a movie for people who never watch R-rated comedies. It was like a crossover hit with people who like watch really kind of safe, banal comedies, and then they were like, "Ooh, this is a little naughty," you know. And it's like I remember seeing it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is pretty run of the mill."
My big gripe about it, and it was going on Twitter, is the Todd Phillips aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like I love Martin Scorsese. He's my favorite director. Guess what? He has no input in this fucking movie. He's putting his name on it. That's just my guess, as Steven Spielberg puts his names on Transformers.
Unless
hey,
he's
you know what? All
writing
right,
it-
that's a good place to stop. Let's wrap this up real quick. But Joe, you said something there. Scorsese's favorite director. Let's do a roundtable real quick. Favorite directors. Jusef, go.
Favorite director right now?
Just pick one. You got to pick one off the top of your head.
Denis Villeneuve.
God
Okay,
damn it.
TJ.
Steven Spielberg.
Ridley Scott. All right, let's move on to round 2 here. Who's up next? TJ, you know, you had a topic you wanted to talk about that's close to my heart. You know it is. So why don't you go next? Ooh, we
I'm
got a
gonna
little
take a
captain
shout out
there.
for you this
Crown?
one.
What is that?
Oh, it's a shot of Fireball.
Oh, it's so gross. It feels so bad going down. Just like the movie I'm about to talk about. Fuck you, MCM. It came up to bite me.
Why don't you take a lap?
This is all staying in. Now, I told you about cutting pregnant pauses earlier. I want all this to stay in.
Take a lap.
It's
Take a
so
lap,
sad.
You know,
TJ. Take a lap.
Hands up, breathe.
How dare you decide that you're going to listen, I could beat this fucking every day for the rest of my life. There's no
Hell yeah,
reason
baby.
to
Beat that
reboot.
drum. Come on, man.
Oh. Do not reboot Child's Play. What are you thinking? Okay, I understand if you want to reboot certain things that don't work or maybe came a little bit before its time. Child's Play has been successful from 1 to 3. It flipped the script from Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, made it a comedic, goric, just meta movie, and then flipped the script again while still being video on demand, straight to DVD, straight to Blu-ray with Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. Like, there's no reason that they would have to reboot this fucking movie with also excluding Don Mancini and the whole group behind the brain trust of Chucky. Like, this whole thing blows my mind. You take certain films and properties and you there's no reason for it. Look, guys, I'm stuck. Help me out here because do you think this could
100%, man. This is exactly why I wanted you to talk about this. I couldn't wait. I wanted to hear you, and I'm 100% with you. This is a franchise that has seen the changes, has stayed ahead of the curve when they, in the post-Scream era, when everybody was too smart and too cool for horror, they got ahead of the game. They were like, man, hey, isn't a killer doll ridiculous? Huh? Yeah, poke a little fun at ourselves. Get in on that. And I get that it wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but you have to respect them for doing something, for making an attempt to keep themselves relevant. And then, like you said, when horror is in what I would say is in a resurgence in this decade, and in the late 2000, early 2010s, and up till now, they again knew when to bring it back and had the balls to connect it to the original trilogy when everybody else was rebooting and was trying to, steer away from the campiness or the old. They embraced their history. They said, no, it's all canon. This is one story. And the idea that you're going to cut Don Mancini is gross. He wrote all of these movies. He directed the last 3. He is the Child's Play franchise.
I go ahead, Joe.
No, I was gonna say, I have also a thing about that where there's gonna be such a big failure in this is that something like Chucky and Child's Play is so similar to the it's like Freddy Krueger, and we're rebooting that. It's such a personality and a character. You can't just plop that in. Okay, it's just gonna be another haunted doll movie then. And they're not even
Brad Dourif is iconic in that role. Like you're not going to be able to replace him or even have him in a different body because all it's going to do is remind people of Chucky. So it's not like you can use his voice in some kind of new scenario either.
And they're going to do some dumb thing with like not a doll. It's going to be like Bluetooth.
Some kind of animatronic small soldiers bullshit, right?
But the thing is, it's gonna be bad.
From the back of the fucking door.
And I'm looking at this, right? And you're saying there's no need to reboot it. So the 5 films total have made.
No, it's 7 films.
It's 7. So yes.
No, the 5 films total.
5 theatrical releases.
Theatrical releases total have made 126 million at the box office. Each pull in. Except for the third one, about 20 to 33 million in the gross in theaters. No fucking people are going to go see this.
No.
It's going to be a January 1st.
There's a reason this was already straight to DVD. They know where their audience is. They have a niche audience who's into the Chucky that exists. They don't want new Chucky.
The last 2 Child's Play films, or Chucky films, whatever you want to call them.
Sure, no, that's fine.
They're Seed of Chucky and Cult of Chucky are great.
Yeah,
I'm not Seed of Chucky. I wasn't a fan of Seed of Chucky, but Cult and Curse.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Great.
Seed of Chucky knew what it was.
Seed is the weakest one, but yeah, I 100% agree. It knows what it is.
I saw it at the wrong time, and I didn't get it. And it's one of the ones I always want to go back and rewatch.
You said make. What were you gonna say before I fucking destroy?
No, I just think. Yeah, I just think all the Chucky movies suck. I'm kidding though.
Motherfucker.
No, I was kind of confused though, in terms of the rights, since they're eliminating every single person that is like central to the actual storyline and to the creation of the entire birth of the movies. I'm just confused how they're just pushing forward to a reboot, but also at the same time the creators are pushing towards a TV.
So this is my aspect on this thing whole. So what I was gonna say is this whole reboot is on this, as Joe was saying, this weird AI Siri Amazon system that around a group of kids. So they're not necessarily taking the story that of a secluded a single mother with her son, and which for me doesn't work because it's not in the 80s, it's not in the 70s, so it's not you don't have that.
It's going to be like a bad batch of dolls, and we're going to see different kids interacting with them and stuff.
Or not
and
even
here's my thing: that's actually kind of a cool idea. How about just don't call it Child's Play?
So
do a show about a killer toy and call it something else.
So it could function, but it's not going to be a movie. A lot like how they did the Scream TV show.
I was just thinking the same thing.
And I liked the Scream TV show. I thought it was a solid first season, and it has its problems like anything else.
What I was saying is, if you take a group of kids, this whole AI smart system, and then you do this whole, you're bringing it back to life and putting it in theaters, guess what? Your cost of film jumps a whole bunch. When all those Child's Play that you say maybe made 126 million over the 7 films, where 2 are VOD, 5 are actual theatrical releases. I bet you none of those cost more than $4 million at the most. So now you got a movie that's going to already go to 50 fucking million because they're going to a group of kids. They're going to go Stranger Things. They're going to go It. And they're going to actually it's why? It makes no sense because like you said, Child's Play is not going to sell on its name itself. You're going to have to bring back Brad Dourif's voice. You're going to bring back the look of Chucky. And guess what doesn't work in 2018? The look of Chucky, unless it's on VOD, and you bring it back to Bride Chucky, which in that one scene in Cursed Chucky, spoilers, where they peel back his fucking face and they see the stitches. Like, those things make sense, but you're not going to make sense theatrically. You're going to make it sense of VOD. You can't re-release this.
I'm trying to think of some bad. I'm the person that they're gonna cast of his voice.
Yeah, Tom
Hardy, fuck off, because you don't see his fucking face.
Tom Hardy doesn't talk.
The confusion that I have is that they're pushing towards futuristic Chucky, which to me makes no sense, because one of the main reasons the horror genre has seen a resurgence is that they've been doing like period pieces, like 70s, 80s, because back then there's no trump card like the cell phone or the internet,
and there's only certain people who can make those time periods work, and like getting those people to work for a certain amount of money is like, I would love to Duffer. If you're gonna do Child's Play, like I said, I'll put in the fucking link, Achi's channel website, like the Duffer Brothers should have got this. I don't know who's directing. Oh, the Lev Klasberg, who did Polaroid for MGM and stuff like that. These weird, horror movies that are going to be very low budget. Cool, dope. If it's low budget and they're going to do it, and I don't fucking know, because the rights thing fucks me up. If Don Mancini and Brad Dourif aren't involved, fuck off. That's all I got to say about this.
That's the thing, TJ. I'd say they don't even need to make these to hold on to the rights. They've been making them.
Yeah,
it's not like you get a fucking Hellraiser movie and we slap 2 minutes of Pinhead.
Tremors did it
just to get the rights, and they just did. And they did it. WWE owns Leprechaun.
Yeah,
it's weird, like I just said, like Tremors is doing all these. They got 6 films coming out. Like, 2 of them are Netflix. 3 were theatrical. 1 was like a weird sci-fi movie.
Well, then they were working on that show. They did a pilot for a show too, and had Kevin Bacon in it and everything.
Let me play Al Pacino.
Got canceled, but I heard it's good. I heard the pilot is actually good.
Let me play Al Pacino here for a second, and the thing with something like
I get that reference.
the thing with something like Tremors, though, I think Child's Play does have a little more IP. Where, like, if you put Tremors in theaters, and you were like, we're rebooting it, it's going to have a weak opening weekend. It's going to be like Flatliners.
It's all about that 90s serial killer.
Yeah, it's like Child's Play. You could fucking market around Chucky because people still talk about Chucky.
Chucky was just in Ready Player One, too, and I remember that being a thing. Like,
wait, so spoilers. Player One. Did Brad Dourif play his voice?
I don't even know. Does he have lines in it? I didn't even know.
No, he laughs. That was such a bad scene too.
Okay.
I hated that movie. Oh my god, I hated it.
Oh well, I haven't seen it yet, so you can save that and force me to watch it for the show if you like.
Hey guys, I started watching it and I fell asleep because I was tired. So
I think he just laughs and kills a bunch of people.
My son absolutely loves the Iron Giant, and like the fact that the Iron Giant appears in that movie, like it was hard to avoid seeing it. Like my son, I kind of had to distract him with other things. But see, my son doesn't care about context. It doesn't matter that he wasn't the same Iron Giant or that it wasn't like properly represented. The Iron Giant was on screen. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
like,
look, I mean, I'm kind of I try not to be the guy that says like that's not in the book, but
that's not true.
But it's not in the book, so it's kind of weird when you read the book, which is like 80s centric, and then the Iron Giant is there, and you're like,
we all agree Child's Play remakes or reboots are bad. If you're going to do anything with Child's Play, continue on. Jusef, what did you bring us? What's your topic today?
Oh, you really want to go to me? All right. So I'm sorry. I'm going to keep going with the, with 2-episode trend of coming up with a random question. So my question is, if you were to have, if you had to choose, it's would you rather? Would you rather have your life be a shaky cam view always, like no matter what you're doing, it's shaky cam, or you're doing the Pulp Fiction trunk view, like everything is like from below. Your view is always from below.
I'll go first. So I'm going shaky cam. I'm a weird guy, guys. I do a lot of weird things, and it would benefit me if the camera was shaky, because you definitely couldn't pinpoint on what I was doing.
But you're the one. You're the one viewing your world through shaky cam.
Ooh.
Oh, so I'm only seeing.
Yeah, you're the one viewing either through shaky cam or you're viewing it from up above. So you're seeing just everybody's nostrils.
So I'm still sticking with that because I wake up in the morning and I'll get a little regretful sometimes, and the shaky cam would help because I do some weird things. I don't want to keep bringing that up, but I do some weird things. So the shaky cam would help because if I got to re-watch that or go back into my brain and I'm going to John Malkovich this and slide into that little thing and watch my thing, I don't want to see incomplete direct things. I want to do someone else take the camera right now from
So
me.
you're just brushing your teeth or taking a shit, and you're just everything is just
at the same time.
Like this.
The same time.
Be so intense though.
It's very intense shit you're taking though.
I do some intense things, guys. Okay.
What's up, Joe?
All right. I guess I got the opposite reply of TJ. I'd go up the up view because at least I could keep things focused and view things and not be puking every 5 seconds from a consistent shake.
Are you actually down in a hole your whole life? So would a lot of ladies be bending over to talk to you? That might alter how I think about the question.
I kind of preempted that question, and that's why I said Pulp Fiction view. So you have to be trunk level. So you cut off the waist, so you don't have to be a creep, Brian.
Okay.
So, I don't have to be, but I can be.
So I could still do my job. I could sit and watch TV, just in a different angle, and not be
can you view TV though? TV is flat though.
I've sat in front row of a movie theater once. It's not fun, but it's better than
perspective. But you can make it work.
It's kind of like this though.
If I just.
How are you viewing TV?
Oh, there he goes.
All right, then I would just have a great view of everyone's neck. And I'd rather
let me know when I get a Cheeto under there or something.
I'd rather see that instead of being oh, I missed that beard because I don't have my hands. It wouldn't be that hand-eye coordination would just be all off.
I'm just realizing that this wouldn't work. I wouldn't be able to hang out with Joe because I spend my whole life trying to get people to not see me from that perspective where my head's down and all my chins are all bunched up. So I would never be able to be around Joe anymore. I'm that would have to be it for us.
I'm pretty sure all of you have wives or girlfriends, and it's Tinder. It's all about the angles, and it sucks dick. So just heads up.
So wait, let me back away from that sad statement that TJ said. So you're so you're saying, Brian, you don't want a Stardust angle for every single moment of your life? You don't.
Oh my God, the Stardust angle! Let's just call that chin beard the act. That shit is the worst.
Make sure to check.
Newsflash, everybody who does Stardust. I am not watching your videos. I'm sorry. Even if I like them, I'm not watching them.
Listen,
I might like them. I am 100% not watching them.
I have 5 reviews on Stardust. Please, all 6 of you that have the app, check it out.
I'm too busy on Vero, guys. Find me on Vero.
Try to get me to the guide premiere through Stardust. Let me know.
So
right,
Brian,
sorry, go back to you.
So Brian, you're picking them shaky cam. Everything you see is just shaky cam.
Absolutely, I'm going with shaky cam. I'm a huge Michael J. Fox fan.
Oh.
I love Teen Wolf. It's so good.
Oh, do you?
No, I like his.
I got my question for next time.
I like his Curb episode.
I think we should move on to Joe.
What would you like to see?
Let's close it out with that. Thank you.
That was a slam dunk.
All right. All right, so my
Joe,
topic.
what did you bring us today, my boy? My
Oh.
beautiful boy.
Oh, I brought I guess the theme, except for the last one of just more things you want to be angry about. What's something that a movie that you've spent money on that you regret spending that money? And I don't mean something that you just like left and you just hate it because you hated it. So like, you know, like Batman, like not like Batman versus Superman, which like sucked, but you still had like were part of the conversation. My pick for that is the worst movie I ever seen is what I spent money on would be The Devil Inside, which is the worst fucking piece of shit. It had an okay marketing campaign and went, this might not be as bad as it's being projected as. The movie, spoiler, ends with a goddamn title card for you to go to a website that doesn't work. There's not one piece of thing in it, and it's the worst fucking piece of shit you will ever see. And I spent a good like $35 on it because I took a girl out to see it, and guess what? We both laughed the whole time.
Two things. Did
awful.
you bleep yourself before you said it had thing in it, and then you said fucking motherfucking thing in it? Like,
no, I didn't.
So hard, bro.
I didn't beat myself.
I don't know. I'm gonna say you bleeped yourself, but yes.
But that's for me.
Wait, who was in that movie?
No one.
No, yeah, that's a nobody movie. There's nobody in that.
But
you know,
the difference with that movie is that they released it theatrically, so I'm counting it. I'm sorry, Brian. Go on.
No, I wasn't. I was just going to jump in because this kind of fits into the theme. Fans of this show might know me from my show, The DVD Bunker, where I like to go through my extensive DVD collection and reassess things that I purchased over the years and see if they were a good buy, as in money well spent, or goodbye, as in get out of here, you piece of crap movie. So I kind of like have a little bit of experience in this realm. I've actually made a habit of I don't usually buy a movie that I haven't seen because that's like I got burned a lot before. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you right now something I wish I wouldn't have spent money on, and this might burn a lot of bridges. This may be a hot take. I bought a Blu-ray 5-pack of Alfred Hitchcock movies. On spec. The guy's a classic. He's iconic. Everybody loves Hitchcock. I'm like, I'm going to buy this. I had a gift card from Grandma for Best Buy. I was like, I'm getting this. I'm going to spend my hard-earned grandma's gift card on a Hitchcock. Fucking one movie on that whole thing that I thought was worth my time. And that includes classics such as Psycho, The Birds, and Vertigo. I'm not saying they're bad movies. I'm just saying when all things considered, I could have spent that Best Buy gift card more smartly.
Oh, I bought the Prometheus Blu-ray with the 3-hour documentary on it for $30, and I regret it every day.
You shut your filthy mouth.
No, I love the movie. I love the movie.
I bought Prometheus with a $5 Blu-ray on Black Friday, so you got sold, sucker.
That's what I mean. But no, Brian, I get what you're saying though with the Hitchcock thing. Is I've bought in those before too, like where I'm like, oh, I haven't seen all these, but I'm gonna go watch them. And you're like one good movie on it. So I understand where
right. Like had I watched these singularly, there's only one I would have actually made part of my collection. You know what I mean?
I know exactly.
So and I get what you're saying. It's not necessarily about the quality of the movie. It's also about value. How much did I spend versus how much I like or rewatch the movie.
That's more of it because and we'll get to you two in a minute. The thing is, like people are like, oh man, I like I know TJ hates The Dark Knight Rises, but it's like. You don't regrettably like spending money to go see that because then you became part of all these conversations and you have an opinion on it. So go on with your topic.
Like 5 times. Fuck that movie.
I guess I'll jump in.
Yeah, please.
Because,
Hitchcock.
Since Brian already promoted his DVD bunker, I'll promote my website too. Like since I try to find like things that I love in every single movie that I watch, like because I honestly do love movies. Like it was my
why?
Because I escaped my life, my shitty life.
But why?
through movies.
Why? Why I love movies?
Why?
It could happen.
Why
I love them?
But why?
But why?
But But why? But the one movie that I just stared at the screen. I mean, I'm telling you, I watched Twilight. I've watched like shitty movies, and I have a section where like so bad it's good movies, and where I just make fun of movies. But the one movie that I just couldn't like bring myself to actually love is like disaster movie. I mean, it was like the peak of like parody movies, and where like they took
Those
like
type
scary
of parody
movies.
movies got so bad. Like scary
They
movies,
got so bad.
I'll stand by the first two scary movies.
Three's
They are
fine.
not terrible. But when they
Yes.
just became like they would just do a movie that recapped whatever came out the year before and then
Yes.
slap a title on it. And like disaster movie basically was all encompassing. They could put anything in it. Like
Yeah,
it was
they-
just like
It was like, do
Superhero
you
also.
remember? Do you remember Iron Man? Do you remember Paris Hilton? Do you remember A Flying Cow? It's like, what the fuck is
remember
going on
Paris
with this movie? What?
yeah, I mean, if you want to see a flying cow, you go see Twister. It's got Bill
Uh,
Paxton in it.
So
do you
bad.
guys, I don't know why I just thought of it. Did you ever catch the Pauly Shore's movie he made about himself being dead? Pauly Shore is not dead. Pauly Shore is dead.
No,
Oh,
Is there
okay.
green light, night vision?
It,
good,
Shot?
good
no,
content.
It has that same feel though of that like era of just like cheap, shitty parody movies. Anyway,
Go Tj.
Oh, so I used to go to the movies every week. Me, my best friend, and his fucking dad. We would do whatever new release was out. The one new release, I finally got a job. I was 15 fucking years old. I'm like, I'm buying everyone a ticket for this goddamn movie. You know what movie it was? And this is no shot to him because I've watched the movie recently. It's a good movie. M. Night Shyamalan's Village.
no, the movie's
I bought
awful.
3 tickets to
That
the
movie's not
brand
good.
new
Don't call that
theater.
good.
Stop,
It's not a
stop,
good
stop. It cost me $27 for 3 fucking tickets to the brand new low
It's a deal.
Cineplex 1080p fucking film. This is back in 2000, whenever 2007.
It hurts
when
me
came out.
that you were a child going to see that. I was
bought
married
tickets
when
for
the movie
$3.
came out.
Yes, and it was because everyone expected a goddamn monster movie, and guess what? You didn't fucking get a monster movie. Now, me being a somewhat smarter, I have a Camden College degree. It's not a big deal. It's only like CCC, but I know things about film now, and that was a good movie, kinda. So
I mean,
I really
defend,
never finished that degree. So
Honestly, I'll defend the cinematography. I'll defend the score, and I'll defend the acting.
Adrian
Yeah.
Brody.
But guys, at the end of the day, when I'm deciding on a movie and it's something like a bullshit The Village and it's just bad, I don't
I
give
think
a
the one
fuck
movie that
about
everyone's
the
like, oh, fuck that
cinematography.
movie.
Right. I don't care how pretty it is. It sucks ass. If you want to see a good Adrian Brody monster movie, go watch Predators, baby.
I know.
yeah.
I agree. The movie sucks.
Boom.
But you can't say it's a horrible movie because.
No, I can because I just did.
Okay, fine. I mean, it's kind of like.
Oh, that's it. Mic
All
drop.
right, it's
We're
not
moving
Lady in
on.
the Water, so fuck you.
Moving on.
No.
We're not
Wait,
talking M. Night. Nobody brought up M. Night. That wasn't the category. We're not doing an M. Night chat tonight. You want to bring that up next week? You bring it up next week.
The
or
next-
two
the
weeks,
next-
Lady in
whatever.
the Water.
The next time. The next time.
Pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 pa. It's time to stop.
All
No,
right,
no.
fine. Don't hear my
No, no, no.
Paul
Now let's
Giamatti
talk about
story.
this week's movie. The reason I get to host is because I had the brilliant idea to actually have a movie on deck and ready last week when we were talking. And my suggestion was that we not only delve into the mid-90s sci-fi classic, The Island of Dr. Moreau, but I also asked these gentlemen to check out a documentary called Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau, a companion piece. Now, did everybody get to see both the movie and the doc, or just the movie?
Yeah.
What did Yusuf just did? I popped everything. God
I
damn it.
know Youssef saw both. Everybody get to see both.
Yes.
It's okay. I understand if you
I
did.
saw both. I didn't sleep last night, but I saw both.
All right. Well, let's start off a little bit. Just let's talk about the movie, because the way it worked for me as a kid, I saw this movie in the theater, and I think for a long time I actually thought it was a good movie. So let's just talk a little bit about what your first impressions were.
I got a question though, because this is based on the 1800s,
H.G. Wells, and I think there's
1890s.
a fifth. Is there a movie from the 50s or the 60s too?
Yeah, it was adapted a couple times, but but like my main question is, like in the book, the dude that gets stranded is a scientist. So you kind of get that play between Dr. Moreau, which is a scientist, and this dude that just came on the island, which is a scientist. But in this movie, he's on a piss mission from the UN, which never like it never connects. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, he's just there in the book, or I think in the book he's actually going to find Moreau, and in this one he kind of just ends up there. Am I right?
Can I ask a question? Has anyone read the book?
No.
Okay, cool.
So we're just speculating. We're just speculating here. This isn't a reading show, TJ. Okay, let's not get it twisted.
So my main question is, like, I get that the book is trying to put two scientists like going against each other in terms of their philosophies, but why the hell did they put the main character as a UN peace negotiator? Like, it never comes up again, and he just dropped in an island and where like monkey people and dog people and hyena people are just running around, and he's just like being a dick about it, because he's like in front of the hyena and in front of the dog people, he's like, this is an abomination, these people should die, this is like against God, right in front of his face. Like, I think he's like the villain of the movie. He's like an asshole. He's like in front of them. Like, well, this is an abomination.
It's David Thewlis, and I feel like it's hard not to see him as a villain. Like, I know before this movie, I only knew him as the dickhead prince in Dragonheart. And then I saw him in this. And then, like, progressively, he always plays kind of an asshole. Or a guy who you think is an asshole who doesn't turn out to be such an asshole.
Well, he was the villain in the Wonder Woman.
Barely. But yeah, he was.
Don't. He's Professor Lupin for me. Professor Lupin from Harry Potter.
You know what? This movie, it's just bad. I had my only impression was, there's no plot here, but the effects are cool until they start.
I was gonna say, can we talk a little bit about the practical makeup? I think the practical makeup deserves a shout out.
The makeup and these character designs look awesome.
Crazy?
These are what you've been talking about.
2 shows in a row that I'm pretty sure we are giving love to Stan Winston's Creature, because he did all of Swamp Thing 2's Johns.
Really?
And he's Philly.
I want Jusef to defend to stand up and say that he doesn't think the practical makeup effects in this are good. That's blasphemy.
Yeah. And first of all, if we're talking documentary to film, that's the one thing they kept throughout this film is the original director's prosthetics from Stan Winston's group. Like, that's the one. I mean, obviously, other than the actors, because they had to, but they're the one things that held to. I mean, they don't look great. 1996.
I guess. No. Sorry,
in this when that like Catman goes running across the falls or whatever.
That was bad.
Someone explain what just one thing to me. What happened? Like, what was the plot?
No. Let's hear what Jusef has to say about the effects, and then we'll talk about the plot of the movie or whatever else.
No. Sorry. I think 4 years earlier, we believed dinosaurs existed. Okay, so don't talk to me like it's 1996 and
I'm talking about practical makeup on a human though.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
Jurassic Park had practical effects. Sorry, so I'm sorry. I believe
practical effects.
No. Wait.
I'm talking about the actual makeup of making men look like monsters and look like animals. I think it's tight.
I believe more the Planet of the Apes Like I believe more that they were monkeys in that movie than the
About
shit
Tim
show
Burton's
that I
Planet of the
just
Apes?
watched.
Yeah, Tim Burton's
No.
Planet of the Apes had great
That's
practical.
2001. Come on, keep track, boys. It's in the 1970s.
You're
It's
out of your
in
mind.
1960s.
The
Wait,
dude who plays the
hell
main
no.
like
Hell
hyena,
no.
the guy who like
Planet of the Apes
leads
had
the
great practical
revolution,
effects.
that
That's
guy's
the one.
effects, the way
You're talking about one.
stuff
One.
is so good. What he brings to that, you're crazy.
You're talking about one dude that really lived the moment. The rest were like a shit show. The dude with the, I think he was like, I don't know, a hog. He looked horrible. A lot of people look horrible in that movie.
No,
Sorry.
there. What I found was
I'm not saying every background character looks perfect, but I'm saying
But
the
you're-
main players,
sorry, I'm
Ron
sorry, but-
Perlman,
The-
the guy
the-
who's the hyena dude,
Yeah,
they have some really solid makeup.
I mean, but you
Some of
can't
the mouth
pick and
practical-
choose though. You're saying that the practical
Also,
effects.
the guy,
are
the
all-
little guy, the guy who's Marlon Brando's sidekick, he didn't really look like that. I mean, he was really small, but they gave him all that weird skin and
Oh,
stuff. That was like a practical
Really
makeup
naked
effect.
guy.
All right. Let's keep the order though, because you
I have
just
a-
jumped like.
Yusef,
Okay,
one
all
sec.
right,
Joe,
Yeah.
if you can you look up how much it costs to do Jurassic World 93 compared to Island of Dr. Moreau 96?
Okay.
But I'm talking 91 though. 91 Jurassic Park. 91.
93, isn't it?
Jurassic Park came out in '93. It was
You
in
wanna-
production in '92.
TJ,
Come
TJ,
on.
do you want Jurassic Park or Lost World?
That's what I'm saying.
the
Jurassic
original.
Park.
The original.
Well, you got Joe on whatever internet duty. Let's talk a little bit, just a little bit more about the movie. So basically, David Thewlis shows up. He meets our Dr. Moreau, played by Marlon Brando. How you guys feel? This is like late stage Brando. This is one of his last roles.
Can we backtrack though? He meets first Val Kilmer though, and
Okay,
Val
Does he meet
Kilmer.
Val Kilmer? Oh, that's
I have an
true.
answer
And Val
for you
Kilmer
guys.
is like what, the Great White Hunter in this movie, right?
I have an answer.
He's okay. Go ahead.
I have an answer. Jurassic Park was 63 million.
It's like 70, right?
Or no, it was 67, not 63, 67. And then Island Dr. Moreau was 40.
Nah, see, and a lot of that money went to Brando and Kilmer too.
Yeah.
Not all that money was effects budget,
Also,
and I think they did a dynamite job.
who gives a fuck about Marlon Brando in mid-90s when he's
What?
making trash? The best thing he had made that point, not at that point, I'm saying in that era, is The Freshman.
But as Yusef was
Yeah, I'm
saying,
trying
like
to
you
think. He didn't
introduced
have
Val
much going.
Kilmer right off the bat, and my whole thing was, I was like,
This is
Very
right
first
off of when he played Batman, right? He's hot
Yes.
off of coming being
Yeah.
Batman, right?
very right off.
Yeah.
So the very first thing he says, David Thewlis, is like, he has this very calm demeanor to him, like, oh, he's playing Bruce Wayne, and then he gets fucking wild, and I'm like, oh, it's the guy from Real Genius, and the whole movie he does this whole like Bruce Wayne, Real Genius link up, and you're like, oh, we're gonna splice two fucking DNAs, and you lose it from there.
Yeah, I never knew if Val Kilmer was either drunk
Yes.
or just trying to be like an evil genius, like just manipulating the main.
Felt it.
He just,
See, I think he was like I think he was a drunk, and he was just like. He was just there for the shit show. I think
Yeah.
he was literally just trying to stir shit up. Like,
Yeah.
I think he'd been there too long, and he knew Dr. Moreau was just a nut, and he'd seen so much fucked up shit that he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna fuck around. I'm gonna take. That's why I love. Spoiler alert: Dr. Moreau dies. R.I.P. Rest in power. And then Val Kilmer becomes the new like Dr. Moreau.
Kills
That
him.
is the best part when he's like encouraging the animals to go back to their animalistic ways, and they're just like orgying in front of him, and he's like throwing pills and shit out at him. Oh, that was my favorite part.
all right. Let's backtrack though.
What? Now,
Let's back. Can we?
We don't have time to talk the whole movie out.
No.
Yeah.
I was
I
going to
don't
do a
wanna talk
DVD
the whole
bunker on
movie.
this, but I blew it. I didn't do it.
I
Val,
don't want to talk the whole movie, but I want to talk about the intro before you kill him off. I want to talk about the intro of Marlon Brando though. When he came in with his white makeup and this linen cloth over him and the peacock feathers.
it's called
and he
style, Yusuf.
What?
No, that's not the
Style.
best one. We need to talk about when he has the little the tin bucket on his head
I'm
that
just bad
ice.
the ball pours ice into.
But literally the first time
I've
we
actually
see
thought
them-
about doing that. I was like, that actually would work. I get hot, I get sweaty. I was like, if I had a bucket that was perfect head size, I might try that shit.
But the worst part about this entire thing is, like Jusef saying, is like this guy forced all those scenes, like him being in the cheese fucking cloth, in the white paint, coming up on a Jeep. Like he forced that scene. He forced the scene with the ice on his head. Like this guy came on
because he was supposed to be part dolphin,
and he just
everything. That would have been great.
That would have been dope if it would have revealed that he was part dolphin and he had a fucking blowhole on the top of his head. This movie would be a goddamn classic.
Marlon Brando was talking with everyone, but that would have he was onto something there because like
all right.
Vicky Valentine.
I was gonna say we're starting to get into like some behind the scenes production stuff a little bit now. So let's talk a little about the documentary. For anybody who hasn't seen it, it was on Netflix for a while. Unfortunately, it's not anymore. I made these guys probably pay for it or steal it or whatever. But basically, the original director, Richard Stanley, he's this guy. It was a passion project for him. This guy, life's work. He wanted to make the island of Dr. Moreau. So he comes in, he sells the movie, he gets everybody on board. But the production is such a hell, and fucking Brando and Val Kilmer are so crazy that he basically has a nervous breakdown. They kick his ass off the movie, but he goes off and lives in the woods with like all these natives and production people. And then his buddies on the production staff sneak him back on set, and he is in the movie as a fucking background monster. What did you guys think about Lost Soul?
Actually, wait. Actually, the most interesting. I mean, there's a lot of interesting tidbits about that documentary, but
I want you guys all to know that Jusef didn't want to watch the doc, and I told him he had to, and he did it, and he loved it, and I knew he would.
Yeah, I love the part when Marlon came in, but there's a potential about the fact that James Wood, Bruce Willis, and Marlon Brando were originally tied to that movie. Like, just imagine that movie in your head, like those
like James
three
Woods is
actors.
David Thewlis, right? And Bruce Willis says Val Kilmer.
Honestly, James Woods would have been a much fucking better person in that lead.
I'll tell you what,
been more interested.
That era, James Woods, I don't like the James Woods. I don't like his politics, but like that's right around that General's Daughter era, and he was still doing some pretty good work. Hades,
I would have gone Lance Hendrickson, but that's just me.
Oh, that's a much better pick, TJ.
Yeah, see?
That is a big complaint I do have about this movie. Isn't so much that it's fucking all the out there though, is it's this thing of like David Thewlis is so miscast in that role.
And not only that, my whole thing is like Richard Stanley would have done is he definitely would have been more violent, more like vibrant also at the same time. Like you could be violent and super colorful and just all his like artful scenes that he put in this documentary with the giant sloths and those giant like lizard monsters, like those things I would have loved to have seen. This whole movie that they put together with John Frankenheimer, which is like the fakest fucking name ever.
No, John Frankenheimer is a real dude. He's directing some real shit.
This whole movie sound this.
That's what I thought was crazy, that they brought in this like legit workman director who would just like whip this production into shape and get this goddamn movie out.
I mean, but
the whole thing's called TV movie.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, it's.
I'm with you. Richard Stanley was like too much of an artist with a vision. That was the problem. He was like too invested in it. Like his movie, if he'd have gotten to make it his way, probably would be a cult classic right now.
Turbo Kid.
Not for the reasons that this movie is remembered.
This was
so crazy. But like, had he gotten to do it his way, I could see that being a legit cult classic now.
This was this era's Josh Trank on Fantastic Four.
And he just kind of just lost his way on it with so big of a budget that you didn't need at that point was like $70 million at that time, which at that point they were saying like this time is like having $150 million budget, which is insane. So like have that with what you have, David Thewlis, Val Kilmer, Marlon Brando, but like all that money.
All right, let's go. Hold on. I'm gonna try to get us. Let's keep it moving because I want to keep us a tight hour here.
Can I make
everybody? I'm gonna go one at a time. tell me your favorite crazy fucking thing from the documentary. Joe, go ahead. Since I cut you off and you were talking.
Oh, sorry.
You can either finish your thought or you can tell us your favorite crazy thing.
You know what? I'm gonna finish my thought. If you get the chance, watch John Frankenheimer in one of his last movies, Reindeer Games, because it is also fucking bonkers.
Oh, I love Reindeer Games. That is a Christmas classic in my house. I fucking love Reindeer Games.
It's actually a better So Bad It's Good movie than like This Isn't So Bad It's Good.
It's a solid Christmas action movie.
It's
got some really it's got a great cast. It's got a really amazing cast.
Yeah. So that's my thought. I'm going to finish. But the craziest thing from the fucking doc was just all the Marlon Brando stuff of the earpiece and the lines, and just didn't give a shit.
Oh, the fact that they're feeding him his lines as he's saying them. You can see that shit in the movie. His weird pauses and stuff. It's so good.
That's my favorite part, because everything with Brando is just interesting there because he's so out of his gourd. he's Elvis levels out of his mind at that point in his life. So that's all. You could keep this tight.
Who wants to jump in? Jusef, TJ, what was your favorite thing in the documentary?
I got two things. Was Murrow's Nobel Prize winning for Velcro?
Yes.
Okay. Stupid. Two. Who's worst, Hammond or Moreau?
Moreau.
Oh, okay. Definitely Moreau.
Hammond.
Yeah. Hammond. Moreau is taking actual humans too.
No.
Like
Hammond. I like where you said that because Hammond. I think it's
Hammond. Hammond had actual effects on humans, like on society. Yes. Like Dr. Moreau just like went away.
He tortured actual humans. Those are like he. What? If Fairuza Balk's character taught us anything, he's doing experiments on actual people.
I'm from an island. And nobody cares about people on an island, so they just disappeared and nobody cared. Like,
so you're saying there was a population on Isla Sorna before John Hammond got there, and they got
Jurassic Park island. Jurassic Park spilled over to San Diego, and now in Jurassic World, supposedly like it's literally the world. So
exactly,
John Hammond is the
world. Not to sound racist, but at least Dr. Moreau put a private island and didn't want anybody to come on it. Dr. Hammond
actual torture experiments on people. Though. Remember when David Thewlis comes into that weird, and he sees them like birthing that baby cow?
Jurassic Park would have worked.
I have another question.
I would go to Jurassic Park still, even after all these movies.
It looks great. Did you see Jimmy Buffett run around with those 2 margaritas? He looked like he was having a great time.
Is Richard Stanley's original Island Dr. Moreau what Zootopia tried to be?
No.
It's close. It's
close.
See?
I think the Richard Stanley, though, his Dr. Moreau stuff, it's almost like too heady, where I think if you did have his like real vision, you're right, it would be a cult classic, but he was leaning so heavily on these like religious iconographies that you would have walked away just as of like, give me a fucking break.
So it'd be Matrix sequels shit, like,
and that's what his thing seemed like. It seemed cool, but that's a good parallel you got there with the Zootopia thing.
And I have 2 last things to say. This is what Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom could have been, because that movie was fucking garbage. The worst movie of the year. That's all I got to say. And that raft that David Thewlis took on the very end of the film was not going to last. And that's all I got to say.
No. Wait. I got a question about that raft, though. He's taking like a basket of coconuts. You know how hard it is to open a coconut
with no machete.
Does he have like
I'll tell you who he should have brought the cow lady with him, because then he could have had milk to drink too. You're out on the ocean. You bring water for her, and then you drink the milk. Boom. You said, what was your favorite thing about the documentary? What'd you like? What struck your fancy?
I mean, about the documentary itself.
Well, like, what was the craziest thing that you were like, oh, snap? Like, because I would say, I told you guys to watch both, but honestly, to our viewers, I would say watch the documentary first, and then if you have interest, check out the movie. Because I think the documentary may be more interesting and like better overall.
It is.
One thing I want to point out is that I like that Brian has enough ego to think we have viewers. And the second thing is that regarding the documentary, one of the things that I loved is that the director just stuck in the island and he was just playing like an extra dog man in the background.
That really is the best thing, right? Like,
yeah, and people didn't know he was just still in the island.
Like they snuck him back on set. And he's in a mess. He's in the fucking movie. You can see him in the movie.
And
like
the one part
once they show you the guy, like,
and the one part where he's just like, yeah, I was standing next to the thing that were gonna blow up, and I could have pulled the trigger on that to blow up the set and sabotage it, but I didn't.
That's crazy. But I want to circle. I want to circle back to the movie. One of the things that really just like bothered me about the protagonist, which is Professor Lupin, is that he's just like ramming on the creations of Dr. Moreau, and he's just simply ignoring the daughter. Like the daughter's like
she's perfect, right? That's peak Fairuza Balk. That's in between The Craft and American History X. She's like a goth queen.
She's so gorgeous. She's beautiful, and she's introduced in the same row as a tiny man, the dog person, and whatever.
And she's doing this weird seductive dance.
That's my thing about the documentary. Not to take away from Jusef's point, because we all love Fairuza Balk, but I think my favorite thing in the documentary, or like maybe the thing that just like kind of like got my blood boiling the most or made me think the most, was the fact that Marlon Brando like pulled a power move and took all that dude's lines and like all his like shit and gave it to that little guy. I was like, that's fucked up, because that guy's like, you watch that dude in the movie, he's really performing the shit out of that. Like he's got like a real kind of meek demeanor, and like he wants to do right, and he's trying to do the right thing. And the makeup, like I said, I think he's got one of the better. He's almost human. You can tell Moreau like gave preference to the animals that looked more human. That's kind of a like, there's like some undertones of like racial profiling stuff there, and light skin and whatever. We don't have to get into that. That's in the movie. It's all baked in.
Would you say that indie directors from South Africa are just cursed? Look at this dude, and then look at Neil Blomkamp.
Oof. Goddamn.
I mean, this sounds like it could be Neil Blomkamp.
District 9's a really good movie.
What if he remade Island Dr. Moreau?
Yeah, but
probably make a good one.
The following movies suck though.
Oh yeah, Neil Blomkamp's 1 for 3 in my book. So everybody, and like I'm a big fan of the Alien franchise, obviously. Yeah. And everybody's like, "Oh, Neil Blomkamp's Alien movie." I'm like, "You guys saw Chappie, right?"
You know what a Neil Blomkamp Alien movie would be? Everyone needs to recycle. That would be the ending message.
I'll tell you exactly what it would be. It would be a big Aliens fanboy jerk off. And I'm sick of that. I don't want to see fan service movies. I would want to see original ideas. And say what you will about Ridley Scott's new Alien movies. Like, yeah, maybe the characters are badly written and stupid, and maybe they're uneven, and like some of the action sequences are out of place. But the ideas at the core of that, fucking Alien Covenant is like a modern Frankenstein. David is a great sci-fi villain, maybe a best sci-fi villain of the last 10 years.
All right, wait.
All right, calm down, fan pipes.
Brian plays his flute. I want to kind of.
Jusef, will you help me with the fingering?
I'll finger you later. So while we resume, I feel like it's fair to resume the island of Dr. Moreau. So
sure,
the dude comes in, he meets Dr. Moreau. He's experimenting with beasts. The beasts kill Dr. Moreau. The island goes apeshit, and then the dude goes away. So kind of what's the message of the overall movie? Like, don't play God.
I got it.
I mean, Fellas says he's gonna send back help, right? Like the idea he's gonna come back or whatever. He says he will.
But what's the
Do you think
message
he
of
ever
the movie?
did?
What's the point? What's the point of this fucking movie? That
Well,
you
yeah, I
only
think the
watch?
whole point of H.G. Wells' book is the whole, man playing God thing. I don't know, does the movie get that across? I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay, guys, look, I got this. Okay. Go to the wild card. Ow, my elbow.
Whoa, guys, the wild card is
Wow,
in play.
God, wild card just hit his funny bone.
Play his music. Like the wild
yeah.
card's coming in.
Hit it.
Amazing.
Hit his entrance music.
So basically, we did Swamp Thing 2, Return of Swamp Thing, and we did Island Dr. Monroe. There's a lot of splicing. So, with that being said, TJ is God. I'm Almighty. Bruce Almighty. Steve Carell Almighty. I'm the guy. So, with that being said, I had nothing else with that one.
Oh, look, somebody followed me on Twitter. Oh, go ahead. Peter.
I got you.
That
That was it.
was it.
That was it.
I thought you were going to announce our next movie. I thought this was a lead-in. Like,
No,
as the host, I was like, man, TJ's good at transitions.
Joe,
We're wrapping up this Dr. Moreau
I have
thing.
the next
He's going to
movie, and
suggest another movie.
I have the next movie, and it has nothing to do with splicing because I think we need some fucking joy in our lives.
Yes.
But
All right.
I'm gonna go with, and I'm actually saw it on my shelf, but I haven't watched it in years, and it sounds weird to say joy, but I think it'll be a really fun revisit.
You're staring at it right now.
I am. Death at a Funeral, but the original one, 2007, Frank Oz, British comedy. It's a really underrated good movie, and
This is one you're actually going to make me watch because I've never seen it.
You'd
I can't bluff my way through it.
You'd like it. So
Peter Dinklage is in it.
He's in both of them. They remade it in 2010 with an African
Didn't they turn it from a British people to they just took all the British people and made them black? That was weird. What a weird choice.
But Peter Dinklage is still in it, playing the same character.
Diversity, bro.
I like that. That's the part about it that I like the most. That they they hung in with the Peter Dinklage thing.
Well, our podcast is about diversity, so.
But it's not. I'll watch both for this, but that's what I'd like to choose. I'd like to go a little different. Something that it could be fun to watch. It's a funny movie.
This better not cost me a fortune, or I'm going to come in with a fake Wikipedia version of what I thought I saw.
Let's see.
You ever heard of Pirate Bay? Sorry.
Well, luckily, I'll tell you what. We're lucky because we do 2 weeks in between shows, and I'm old, and I still use disc Netflix, so I can get a disc sent to me in the time it takes before our next show.
So my pick is Death at a Funeral. The original 2007 one. But if you'd like to watch the remake, also feel free to. I remember it being pretty goddamn bad. So
wait, is that the
all
one?
Right. Well, I think that's good. I think that's great. I think that's a great place to start to wrap it up. We have our pick for next week. We talked about Dr. Moreau. Everybody out there, like I said, check out Lost Soul if you can find it. That's a great documentary. And then if it inspires you to check out Dr. Moreau, I think it's a fun kind of what the fuck watch, especially with the knowledge of the documentary in your back pocket. Let's real quick do some outros. Everybody, tell them where you can find it. Jusef, you like to talk about yourself. Why don't you start us off?
You can find Brian at DVD Bunker. He talks about these movies that he bought 45 years ago when he was 30.
It's true. I bought them before Jusef was even born.
Yeah, I'm too young for you. So it I don't know. whyIlovemovies.com. You can find me and just read my crappy reviews and leave a mean comment and I'll ignore you.
I'm at the point in my career where I still engage with mean comments because it just means somebody's watching. So
I mean, people are reading it. According to my
that's how me and Jusef actually met each other. So I can't really slam on mean comments.
That's true. We're me and Brian are on a collision path to just have crappy arguments thrown at each other.
Oh, it's gonna be good. If you're a fan of this show, you're gonna love our fan friction episodes. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, you 3 people that you're listening right now, you're gonna love our fan friction battle.
Hey,
Go ahead,
500 views. People love that show. That's like a damn near a hit. Joe, where can we find you, my man? You beautiful bastard.
Oh, you could find me being Ray's mom. And you could also find me at the DVD bunker. Writing why.
Hey, if you want to drive in and record a show with me, although I'm not doing video anymore, because honestly, I guess we could do it over the phone now.
No, you could just find me probably being an asshole on Chindango1 on Twitter, and this show if you made it to the end.
Oh yeah, if you made it all the way through to this part, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when they say, "Hey, tell us where you can find you," I just turn the podcast off usually. So.
So yeah, you just find me doing that. And taking poops. I don't know. Where could we find you, TJ?
You can find me at TJ Dex at Twitter. Drinking lots of alcohol because of Child's Play being remade. With that being said, this show will be on the Movie Squad YouTube. You guys can follow the link in the bottom and
yeah, fucking give us a thumbs up and like subscribe and whatnot. And I'm Brian. You guys know me at Hercules on Twitter, DVD Bunker at the Tough Channel on YouTube, but also you can find us on iTunes and SoundCloud and other places where people listen to podcasts. And this particular episode that you're listening to right now is also available on the DVD Bunker stream on all the podcast formats. So be sure to subscribe to catch fresh episodes of Flyover State of Film. And thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Joe, sign us out.
Let's go.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of Flyover State of Film. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tune in next time, everyone. Later.